Tonight, the latest on the California wildfires.
And later, news about the arrest of a Dutchess County corrections officer.
Plus, Disney is turning a milestone age. We will have information on these stories and more.
Hello and welcome to MCTV's Weekly News Update. I'm Raphael Beretta.
And I'm Natalie Ford. Here are tonight's top stories.
Since November 8th, wildfires in Northern California have caused mass destruction. The original campfire started in the town of Pulga and has continued to spread to multiple other regions since. Over 140 acres have been burned. Over 600 people have been reported missing, and the death toll is now at 66. Firefighters and emergency personnel have been working around the clock to put out the flames and evacuate victims. The origin of the fire is still unknown and is currently being looked into by officials. The state is also warning people about poor air quality as the smoke is affecting areas hundreds of miles away. Unfortunately, the fire is not expected to be contained until the end of this month.
On Saturday, over 250,000 people in France joined a protest against the planned gas raise in taxes. There were over 2,000 demonstrations nationwide and over 200 have been injured and one person has been killed. These protests are becoming known as the Yellow Vest protest after what the protesters are wearing. They've blocked everything from intersections to highway lanes to border crossing access points. Most protests have happened in the suburbs and rural places, while the primary cause for protests was the plan for higher taxes. There's also a sense of dissatisfaction with the French president, Emmanuel Macron, with people shouting for his resignation. Most likely, the government won't change anything, and the protests will resume in a few days.
Microsoft has created a free app called Emoji 8 that compares your facial expressions to emojis. The app was created as a way for Microsoft to show off new machine learning technology. Emoji 8 is basically a game that uses the video feed from the player's webcam to analyze how closely their facial expressions match random emojis. Users are then given a score based on how similar their face looked to the emoji. It also allows users to create GIFs that can then be shared on social media.
Classes were canceled on last Friday after an evening of heavy snow and sleet. Students received the glorious Marist alert early Friday morning at approximately 6 a.m., stating that all classes were canceled and offices were closed. This marks the first snow day of the 2018-2019 academic year. Students spent their Friday playing in the snow, sledding, and catching up on both work and sleep. For many, the snow was a day of much-needed reprieve during the hectic final season. After a surprise 3-day weekend, students will only have to spend 2 days in classes before heading home for Thanksgiving break.
It seems that winter is upon us. Michelle DiMartino is here to tell us the latest on the weather.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Highs and Lows Report. I'm Michelle DiMartino. This past week, we officially entered the winter season with the first major snowstorm hitting the East Coast on Thursday, November 15th. We're starting to experience some seriously cool temperatures, so make sure you bundle up when you go outside. In fact, this week, we can anticipate a mix of clouds and rain, with the sun peeking out just in time for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And wasn't that a snowstorm? At Marist, although Thursday night classes were canceled, 5 o'clock classes were not. The commuters and the professors suffered hours-long commute as a result. Although people knew a storm was coming, they didn't anticipate how fast it would come down. The snow started at 5 o'clock and kept falling faster and faster. There were not enough snow plows to keep up. New York also did not predict the storm well. In nearby Fishkill, the snow measured 14.5 inches. Dutchess County had 330 calls for emergency response. Locally, many roads with hills were closed. Detouring to different parking lots at Marist was difficult. Hopefully people now realize the importance of the snowplows. The snow also made Saturday's football game interesting. Although it was cleared off the field, you could still see piles of it nearby, as shown in this picture here. Marist played against the University of San Diego, who was probably not expecting to see snow at their away football game. This was the Marist football team's last home game of the season, and this sure made it memorable. However, people in the stands found themselves experiencing an unpleasant temperature drop. Luckily, that means that people still have time to build that snowman, as that snow was not melted yet. Go enjoy those snowball fights. Now for weather in our neck of the woods. Today's weather showed a high of 39 degrees with a low of 33 degrees. There's a 30% chance of rain. Sunrise was at 6:48 a.m. As the days end sooner, tonight's sunset is at 4:31 p.m. Can you believe the record high was 69 degrees in 1953? A few years later, in 1959, the record low was 17. Tomorrow we are seeing a high of 44 with a low of 33. There will be some rain in the morning hours. Now to focus on this holiday week. Happy Thanksgiving to all, except to those who are going to the Mixies Thanksgiving Day Parade or playing a football game outside with their family. Up here in Poughkeepsie, the high is only 25 degrees with a low of 10. New York City is similarly facing low temperatures with a high of 32 and a low of 22. Overall, winter has come early, and there will be mostly frigid temperatures during your Thanksgiving and Black Friday holidays. Dress warmly. Well, that concludes our weather report for the week. I'm Michelle DiMartino. Thank you.
On Friday, Mayor Bill de Blasio fired Investigations Commissioner Mark G. Peters. This was a far fall for Peters, as the two used to be close friends. That relationship made critics suspicious. However, Peters was produced several reports that exposed corruption cases and significant problems in the government, while de Blasio said those had no effect and that it was due to Peters' abuse of power. Peters says that he was likely fired to stop the revealing reports. De Blasio also said he regretted ever hiring Peters. Peters will be removed on Wednesday, and de Blasio intends to appoint Executive Deputy Attorney for Criminal Justice Margaret Garnett.
Just over a year ago, the San Juan submarine disappeared, with 44 Argentine sailors on board. This occurred on a stormy weather day, but still during a normal trip. Thanks to Ocean Infinity, an ocean mapping company, wreckage of the submarine has been found this past weekend after 60 days of searching. Due to the evidence, it's been discovered that the submarine imploded near the ocean floor. Ocean Infinity was hired to find the submarine, and as they were about to abandon the search, since the contract was up, a team member noticed something off about the data, and that led to the discovery of the wreck. Relatives of the sailors are both relieved and sad, as this brings about a sort of painful closure.
State police responded to the murder of Terry Delmarigo at a home in Wappingers Falls on Thursday evening. Dutchess County Corrections Officer Timothy Alexander was arrested and charged with murder. Alexander was sent to Dutchess County Jail without bail and was later moved to Putnam County Jail. He has separated from Del Gormo in 2016 and later remarried in 2017. Police are still determining a motive for the crime. Anyone with information on the event is asked to contact state police.
Everyone's favorite four-fingered mouse is turning 90 this year. Since 1928 in his debut Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse has been entertaining Americans on the screen. The Walt Disney Company celebrates 90 years of magic, fun, and mouse ears. The Disney Store has released tons of limited edition Mickey birthday merchandise that includes apparel, toys, and accessories. Disney is not the only brand celebrating Mickey's 90th year, as Oreos has created birthday cake flavored Oreos to celebrate. Additionally, fashion designer Jeremy Scott of Moschino has also reimagined the classic characters on the high fashion runway. Happy birthday, Disney! May all your magical wishes come true.
From the battle over custody between Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt to Stan Lee's passing, Zoe Mold has got it all covered in this week's entertainment.
Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's entertainment report. I'm Zoe Mold. As divorce wars between Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt rage on, they have forcibly been placed on the same page. That page is the issue of custody. Their 6 children have become the primary factor in deciding what they want the rest of their lives looking like moving forward. The judge has given them a deadline of December 4th to make final decisions on the custody agreement, or else the judge will decide for them. It has been reported that the children are well aware of the situation at hand, and it has been taking a toll on everyone involved. The last 2 years have been leading up to this very moment, and the situation is as stressful as ever. Stan Lee, the iconic comic book writer, passed away last Monday. Even though he had a long life of 95 years, people are still having a difficult time coming to terms with his death. Many fans wanted to know when his funeral was, but he was adamant about having a small, private funeral just for family and close friends. So that is exactly what took place 4 days after he died. Those who wanted to pay their tributes could go onto his website and say something on the memory wall. The company announced it was also planning a tribute, saying, "The grandeur of Stan makes this a monumental task, and we hope to have more information in the coming days." Stan Lee may have passed away, but we will always have his masterpieces to enjoy and pass on from one generation to the next. His legacy will live on forever. Kanye West donated $150,000 to the family of Jamel Robertson, a black security guard who was shot dead by a white policeman last weekend outside of a bar just outside of Chicago. According to the federal lawsuit that was filed by Robertson's mother, the 26-year-old was apprehending a suspected gunman at the venue where he was working. This case will continue to fuel the nationwide debates about racial injustice and police brutality. On Friday, a user of GoFundMe by the name Kanye West made 10 donations of $15,000. These donations fulfilled the $150,000 goal, and the sum of the donations have doubled since then. Illinois State Police have said that Robertson was not in uniform at the time and refused commands to drop the weapon. Eyewitnesses are saying otherwise. The police officer who shot Robertson has been placed on paid administrative leave during the investigation. With Kanye bringing attention to this case, the investigation should be thorough since so many people will be waiting to see what the verdict is. And there are still speculations on whether or not Hailey Baldwin and Justin Bieber are married, but no matter what the answer is, they are Instagram official. Hailey has changed her name on Instagram from Hailey Baldwin to Hailey Bieber. Fans are becoming more and more set on the fact that the couple is legally married, although they have yet to come out and say it. Baldwin has not changed her name on Twitter, but deleted the tweet stating, "I understand where the speculation is coming from, but I'm not married yet." On top of that, Bieber posted a photo referring to Baldwin as his wife. Whether married or not, she has begun to take on the Bieber name as her own. Speaking of the attention a single Instagram post can grab, the real world is seeming less and less worthy of posting. Instagrammable museums are becoming all the rage in cities across the world. These are museums that are highly interactive, and the end goal is to give visitors an arsenal of quality Instagram content to improve their feed. One of the largest exhibits near us is the Dream Machine in New York. The point of interest is to give the city dwellers a break from chaos and enter into a dreamlike state and escape from the real world for 45 minutes. I think we will be seeing much more of these pop-up exhibits in empty warehouses all throughout the city. One pop-up museum, called the Egg House, started in New York and is currently having its time to shine in Shanghai. These are the perfect weekend activities if you are part of the #obsessed community. Well, that concludes our entertainment report for the week. I'm Zoe Mold, and thank you.
On Thursday, the FCC allowed Elon Musk to use satellites and wireless airwaves in his plan to provide worldwide internet access. While SpaceX's Starlink program launched the first satellites in February, they've been slowly given gradual approvals to increase the number of satellites in space. The company anticipates that it could take over 6 years to deploy the full network of 12,000 satellites. On the same day, the FCC approved satellites from competitors Kepler, Telesat, and Leosat, meaning there is now increased pressure. While using satellites for communication purposes is not new, these companies are trying to create a better, cheaper, and faster network with satellites that orbit closer to Earth.
On a mission to find the teen smoking epidemic, Juul Labs decided to pull its flavored pods off the shelves amid FDA threats. In October, the FDA threatened to completely ban Juul. Menthols, tobacco, and mint-flavored products will still be sold in stores. Fruity flavors like mango, cucumber, and cream have attracted over 3 million teens to the e-cigarette product. Juul has deleted their social media accounts on Instagram and Facebook and has asked social networks to remove e-cigarette content that is marketed to teens. Although teens may have been smoked out, adults 21 and up can still purchase the flavored pods using Juul's online age identification system.
The taste of coffee mainly comes from the smell. What we drink is mostly liquid bitterness. A new study has discovered that the people who are sensitive to the bitterness of caffeine tend to drink more than those who are not sensitive. Part of the study was done using the blood, saliva, and urine of more than 500,000 people. One of the researchers explained that the bitterness can be associated with the stimulation of coffee, which causes people to drink more. Additionally, those who can digest caffeine easily tend to drink more coffee as well. Another interesting result from the study suggested that people who drink 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day may actually live longer.
A recall has been declared on turkey products due to an outbreak in salmonella. There have been cases in 35 states and over 100 people have been affected, which one concludes in death. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food and Safety Inspection Service has been working with the CDC to find the source of the issue. The turkey recall is widespread, meaning many different types of food and brands of turkey products could be contaminated. The CDC's advice is to make sure all turkey products are completely cooked before consumption, and to make sure you wash your hands after handling the turkey.
Well, better be careful purchasing that Thanksgiving turkey.
Some of you might want to go with ham instead.
I think that'd be wise. Well, that's all we have for you this evening.